Hi everyone, it's Lisan here. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Um, I just ate mashed potatoes and stuffing and corn. um, some of my family isn't vegan, so they had a turkey. They bought that. They did what they wanted, and we were just downstairs with them, and we ate the vegan stuff. But we actually bought our own vegan alternative meat from Whole Foods. I think it was the field roast, and it was cooked, and it was about, I think it was $25 altogether for this carton of field roast that was already cooked and chopped up and breaded. So that was actually pretty nice. So that's what Kenny and I had, and we shared our food with others, but they had their own stuff that they bought and ate. And hello, the people watching. So I wanted to make a video, not only because I haven't made one in quite a long time, but also I just felt like I wanted to make one because I've been thinking about those people on YouTube, and also just celebrities in general, or people that we might look up to who say that they're not vegan anymore, and then they give us some reason, whether it's their health or for convenience or whatever, but sometimes they say it's because of their health that they stop being vegan. And I don't really watch all the stories, but apparently they might not be getting enough protein, or they say they're not getting enough protein, or some aspect of their health suffered. And I don't know their whole story, and I haven't been in their shoes, but I can just say that what has worked for me, and I've been vegan for just almost 8 years. I think I became vegan when I was 24 at the beginning of 2011. So it's coming to the end of 2018, and I would have been vegan for almost 8 years. So that's pretty good. So that means that I would have been vegan for about a quarter of my life by the end of this year. So, and I've had blood tests done. Well, the last blood test that I had was maybe, I think it was last year, or maybe even earlier this year. I went to the doctor and got a blood test, and all my iron levels were fine. My B12 was fine, and actually for B12, I'm not very regular with taking a supplement, but I do take a little tablet that just dissolves in your mouth. And I take sometimes vitamin D, a vegan vitamin D. I can show you the brand. This is the one that I take on occasion. I'm not really regular with this stuff. This is called VitaShine 60 capsules, and I might take one once a week, only because I live in Washington State, where it's often grey and not very sunny, and then it's also coming to winter, so I don't think you can really overdose too much on these vegan vitamin D tablets. Not that I take them every day anyway. So so my vitamin D levels have been good, and my B12 levels have been good, my iron levels have been good. I don't take any iron supplements, and in fact I'm alpha thalassaemic, so I am prone to iron deficiency. But since becoming vegan, I haven't been iron deficient, and I don't feel tired or anything. So, what's wrong with my voice? So this is what has worked for me. As some of you might know, I am a high carb vegan, and I eat pretty low fat. And since the beginning of being vegan, I've always been eating high carb. I've never gone on low carb vegan diet, or never calorie restricted intentionally. I always eat as much as I want, and sometimes I even eat, if the food's really good, I will eat more than what I need to eat. So I've always been high carb vegan, and at the moment I just try to eat as much fruit as I can in the morning, and then for the rest of the day I'll have a starch-based lunch or dinner. And sometimes in the morning, if I'm busy, I might actually skip breakfast, but I don't really like doing that. I just tend to eat more for lunch and dinner if I do skip breakfast. I find that I start eating later in the day, So my breakfast will be like at 12, which is meant to be lunchtime, and then I'll have lunch at 3, and then I'll have a session of teaching piano, and then I'll have dinner a bit later that night. So it's like my 3 meals are pushed a bit later in the day if I have breakfast late or if I have lunch instead of breakfast. So that's what happens with me. But I always eat as much as I want, and if I was more disciplined for getting out of bed or getting my day started, I would have breakfast sooner rather than doing my work first and then going down to the kitchen to eat. So it depends on my schedule and my level of discipline. But ideally, I would eat a big fruit meal for breakfast or oatmeal or whatever's available downstairs. And then for lunch, I'll have noodles or pasta, and then rice is normally for dinner. And I'll eat some veggies with the rice, or I might eat one of those Amy's burritos that are already pre-packaged. They're not very low fat, but that's more of a convenience thing. So I might sometimes have a packaged meal thing, but then I'll eat it with rice to kind of dilute the amount of fat or the amount of sodium. And I'll also cook veggies with that. Oh, hi Vanna, Blue Sky. I've been streaming for just about 6 minutes. And the topic of my video was actually, why do they have to announce that they're not vegan anymore? So I'm just talking about what I do to stay vegan. So that's the practical side of it. I just eat as much as I want, and I don't restrict my calories. I keep it high carb, because I find that if I don't eat enough carbs and I just eat veggies, or if I eat too many fatty foods, I really feel like something is missing in my diet. And also my skin will break out more if I eat too much fat. So I keep it high carb to get enough calories and to keep my skin looking pretty clear. Also, in terms of eating out, I don't really eat out that often, but when I do, I kind of know where I can go and what I can eat at those places. So if I wanted something that was more cost effective, I would go to Taco Bell, because there's a lot of Taco Bells around, and I'll just order the burrito option without the sour cream and without the ranch, without the meat, and without the cheese. And I might add the avocado and the other veggies that can go in a burrito. So I'll make a vegan option out of what is on the menu. Even if it's not vegan on the menu, I'll request to make it vegan. So you can do that at most fast food places in the US. And I also try to look for vegan restaurants or restaurants that have vegan options, or at least vegetarian options that you could make vegan. So that's what I do if I eat out. Not that I eat out that often, because we're trying to save money and we're trying to pay off our mortgage a lot quicker, which I think we can do if we just don't eat out too much and if we are wise with our spending. So as a vegan, I've heard that some people find it expensive, and it just depends on what you eat. For example, you could spend a lot of money on vegan cheese or vegan alternative meats and even vegan versions of yogurt or ice cream. So if you like to buy all that stuff, then of course it's going to cost more than a meat and dairy based diet of those versions. But you don't want to be basing your diet on junk food anyway. So if you just buy fruits in bulk, or wherever you can buy cheap fruit, which is most places in the US, you can get bananas pretty cheap, apples are pretty cheap, oranges, so all that common fruit is quite cheap, and they're still very nutritious. And dates as well, you can get a lot of calories from dates, and it's very healthy. They're high in potassium. So those are some cheap options for fruit. And then of course there's rice and pasta and beans. They're very cheap. So you can do a vegan diet on a budget, and you can get greens. You could actually get frozen greens, like frozen spinach if you like, and it's a lot easier to prepare than getting it fresh, and then you don't have to keep it in the fridge and worry about it going bad. So that's another tip for convenience and getting in all the nutrients that you need. What have I missed? Oh, does anyone have any questions about how they can stay vegan or how to make it easier? Because I can answer questions while I'm here. I really wanted to make this video because of just the YouTubers that I've heard that apparently aren't vegan anymore, and they built their following on a vegan audience, and then they suddenly have to tell their audience that they're not vegan anymore. And I'm I'm like, why do you have to announce to your vegan audience that you aren't vegan anymore? I mean, what you could say is that maybe you're struggling in certain areas of your diet, and maybe you could even ask your audience if they have any ideas on how to stay vegan, because it's not like YouTubers are the most knowledgeable on everything. I know I'm not the most knowledgeable. I learn from other people. I learn from other YouTubers, and I learn from books that I read and just people in my life. So just because you're a YouTuber doesn't mean that you know everything. Oh yeah, and you're welcome about sharing about Heartwood Haven. I only discovered that because my husband got messages from the person who started it and asking for a donation, but my husband said I don't want to donate until I've seen the place. So we went to see the place, and it's good. I like what they're doing. They have a few pigs, several chickens, roosters, and they're being well taken care of. And it was really good to hear the story behind those animals and how they got there and where they were before. And one of the things I learned about the animals, the farm animals, is that roosters are the second, I think it was either the most abused or second most abused animals in farming, because there's just so many of them used up for the egg industry. And then either the first or the second most abused was the pigs. The sad thing that I learned about pigs, not from Heartwood Haven, but from just the beginning of a documentary that I watched called Dominion, which is free on YouTube to watch now if you want to watch it and if you're strong enough to watch through the whole thing. But I watched the first 20 minutes, which was about the pigs, and one amazingly shocking and horrible fact was that it was 700 million pigs are slaughtered in China, and that's the most pigs in one country. And then there was also the US, which is a pretty high number. I don't remember all the numbers, but I remember I saw China as the largest slaughterer of the pigs, and it's probably because of their large population, and they might be exporting them. So yeah, just imagine that, 700 million pigs slaughtered so that people can eat meat and get heart disease and cancer. And these pigs aren't treated very well. They're treated worse than the criminals, than human criminals. So yes. I saw questions, but I wish I could read them again. Where is it? Live chat. Oh yeah. What kind of smoothies do you drink? Oh, when I do drink smoothies, I make them out of whatever I've got, whatever fruit I have. So I mostly make them out of only fruit. One of my favorite ones is a Datorade, which is a lot of dates. I put maybe 15 dates in one, and well, I share this with my husband too if I make it. I put 15 dates, quite a lot of water, and then I'll add whatever other fruit I want. And most of the time it's berries, but I might also make an apple date smoothie and then add some cinnamon in it. So it's kind of got the apple pie flavor. So I've got the apple date cinnamon smoothie, and then also I might make a banana berry one, which would have more of the tropical fruits in there. And I might add mango if I don't add the berries. So I try not to add too many different fruits, otherwise the flavors are a bit too mixed up for me. I like distinct flavors. So yeah, that's what I do if I make a smoothie. Or sometimes I'll just eat the fruit. Like I'll just cut up some apples and eat the apples, or I just eat the bananas as they are. Because like sometimes I'm just too lazy to make a smoothie, so I'll just eat the fruit like it is. A Gaming says, I usually drink banana smoothies with almond milk. That's nice. That's good. Speaking of almond milk, I've been eating some yogurts recently. I tried some silk yogurts, and I normally don't eat yogurt much, but I discovered that Winco has some little cartons of silk yogurt, and they're either made of soy or almond milk, and the flavors that I like are the vanilla, and I like strawberry. So if you see silk soy yogurt, I like the strawberry one, and then I also like the vanilla almond milk one. But I don't really like the chocolate coconut almond milk one. That one's a bit weird. I think I only like coconut by itself, as like eating a coconut or drinking the coconut drink, but I don't really like it in food unless it's a curry. So that's my opinion on coconuts. Any other questions? Or any questions? I don't think I actually answered anything. I'm waiting for questions. Oh, by the way, while I'm waiting for questions. Oh yeah, So Delicious is good. Kite Hill tastes more like yogurt. Okay. Well, I like trying new things. Now I just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I remember now. So Kenny is quite vocal in his opinion, and he helps out a lot at our church. He helps with the gardening and whatever other outdoor stuff that they need done. And he was in a meeting with the leaders of our church, and he was talking about diet, and he was talking about the vegan diet and how we should be vegan. I wasn't at the meeting, but he was talking amongst them, and I think they were talking about all the things that they could improve about the church. And so he mentioned that we should have more vegan options, and he talked about how I think he spoke about how his mom had cancer, and if he knew that the diet played such a large role, he would have been feeding his mom a vegan diet, and amongst other helpful things. So he talked a bit about that, and the good news is that at least now the leaders are aware that we're vegan, because when you're vegan you got to tell everyone. And whenever they have events with food, they have the vegan options now. So that's good. And of course there's more people who are aware of the vegan diet at our church, and they're quite supportive. And since they know that we're vegan, they can always ask us about anything health related or why we're vegan. Not that the topic comes up that much in conversation, but it's just there. Like, they know that they could ask us anything about diet or health if they wanted to. And we actually had another meeting today. It was a different kind of meeting, but there was a lunch served, and I could eat there because even though they had their meat stuff, it was like make your own burrito, and we had our vegan stuff that we could put in the burrito. So I thought that was cool. So that's a little bit of good news, I guess. So I think change is happening, and it starts with each of us and our circles of influence. So You might not be on YouTube, but you definitely influence the people around you, and you could bring up in conversations like stuff related to being vegan, like your health or what's happening in the world, like the environment. So if you wanted to be influential in that way, you can always bring in being vegan into the conversation if you touch on any of those aspects, so health or environment. I think people like talking about themselves and what they're going through. So most of all, when you speak to people about being vegan, you shouldn't be trying to just convert them straight away. You need to listen to them and their situation, and then you can suggest certain things that would help them. But it might also open up their mind about things. For example, let's say someone that you know is overweight and struggling with their health in some way, and you just happen to be in a conversation with them, and you could ask how is your health, or how are your allergies, or I don't know, whatever their problem is, and you could say, oh well, what I've read is that dairy is very mucus forming, so maybe if you eliminate that out of your diet, you'll find that your airways clear up and you might feel a lot better. And then you could talk about all the vegan options that are out there, and help them with that aspect. So it might not even be trying to get them to go fully vegan, but you just plant little seeds and maybe they'll get it one day. I think I've gone a bit off topic with this video, but I just wanted to help people. I just like helping people go vegan in whatever way that I can. I think that's the approach that we need to take nowadays, because, well, not just nowadays, but always, because people don't like being forced to do something, but if they feel like it's their idea, then they're more likely to do it. So I just present the benefits of being vegan on my Facebook page, and then I'll also present the detrimental effects of eating animal products on health and the environment. And if people want to know more, then they can always come to me for help or ask for advice in private message or watch my videos. So I think I've said all I wanted to say. I guess I should say also that when a YouTuber stops being vegan for some reason, or they slip up and then they tell their audience, I have kind of just stopped being disappointed, because I don't want to look up to those people so much anymore. Like, we see people with big followings, I'm not going to name names, but people with big followings who just suddenly aren't vegan anymore, and then they have to tell their audience, and I don't know what kind of reaction they're expecting. Like, are they expecting everyone to be so supportive, or are they expecting there to be disappointment? Are they just doing it for views? I mean, I don't always understand why they have to tell everyone that they're not vegan anymore, and then complain about the vegan diet not helping them, when that's probably not true. But yeah, so I've just stopped being disappointed, because I don't hate those people. I'm actually glad that they were vegan for a time and then influenced so many people to become vegan. But what I don't like is if they start complaining about aspects of the vegan diet and then blaming being vegan on their problems, when it's probably not the real issue. And Miastapul, or is it Meastapul, were they ethical vegans to begin with? Well, I don't know. Maybe they were, but who knows? I consider myself to be an ethical vegan in that I'm not going to intentionally eat any animal products or buy stuff with animal products in them. I'm not going to say that I'm perfect because that's not what being vegan is about. Living in this world, we're going to cause some harm to some animal somewhere. We might step on an ant, or we might, when we drive our car, uh, we might accidentally run over something. But I think that even just eliminating animal products from your diet and not intentionally buying anything with animal products in it is already making a big difference, because that is um, what you buy is supporting the world that you're going to see in the future. So just start with what you can, and then if you want to be a little bit more extreme, then maybe you could go live in the forest and I don't know, like not drive a car and not have a phone. But you have to be realistic as well, because if you don't, for most people, if you don't drive a car or have a phone, you normally can't have a job, and then you can't support yourself and you can't support your family. So you also have to be practical. So being vegan in your diet and then buying as many cruelty-free or less cruel products as you can is making a huge difference. And if everyone did that, then it would be easier to become vegan and be more 100% vegan or closer to 100% vegan. It's just that the the numbers of vegans are so small right now that it's not possible. And even if everyone was vegan in the world, eating a vegan diet, and we never used animals for anything, there's still going to be harm. Although it'd be a lot less and it'd be a lot easier. So that's what we're aiming for. So why not just aim for something excellent, and then you'll end up with something pretty good. There's a quote that is like, aim for the moon or something and you'll land among the stars, or not. I don't know if that's a quote or not. But I thought, no, the moon is closer than the stars, so if you aim for the moon, you'll probably just like land up near the clouds. So I think you know what I mean. So any other questions before I go? I wonder what a vegan Thanksgiving is like. Well, a vegan Thanksgiving can be really good. It just depends on the level of preparation. I had a vegan Thanksgiving personally because I only ate vegan food, but the rest of the family who lives here, they did what they wanted. So that's what my Thanksgiving looked like. It was just me eating vegan food. And in fact, in Australia, we don't even celebrate Thanksgiving because it's only an American holiday. So on the Thanksgiving day in Australia, I just be eating whatever I normally eat. Just my regular food. So that's what it looks like for me. But one thing that Kenny and I were thinking about is that maybe in a year or so, we want to make it a rule in our house that you can only eat vegan food in our house. But we'll give them notice. We'll say that you've got 1 year to transition, either transition or move out. So I think that's fair. I was asking him, should we do it like after the next Thanksgiving or make it a rule earlier? And he said, well, 1 year can be too short for someone to transition, especially if they've been cooking with animal products their whole life. And I think, okay, fair enough. Personally, I went vegan pretty much overnight, and I went raw vegan as well. So if I can do that, and it was pretty hard, I mean, anyone can do it. Not anyone. Anyone with the will to do it can do it. But so that's something that we might do at our house. We might make it a rule that you can only eat vegan food in the house. It doesn't mean you have to be vegan, but like at least when you cook stuff here, and when you store stuff in the fridge and when you bring things home, it should be vegan. So that's what we'd like to do. I don't know how successful we would be with that, but you never know. Who knows? I doubt that they would go vegan by themselves because, well, they know that we're vegan, so if they wanted to go vegan, they would have done it already and then just asked for our help. But if they're just not going to change, then maybe we have to enforce it just in our own house and see how it goes from there. Okay, any other questions? There's 9 people watching. Thank you for those 9 people who watched and for the 2 people that liked this lovely video. Oh, here's a question that I missed before by Katrina C. Are you still leaning out, losing weight, eating high carb after so many years? I've actually just stayed the same weight for the past 5 years or so. Actually, when I first went vegan, I was a little bit heavier. I was heavier eating the animal products, but then when I went vegan, raw vegan, I didn't really lose weight straight away. In fact, I kind of bloated up a little bit eating. I ate a lot of fruit, and so I didn't really lose that much weight, but I did get healthier and my skin cleared up a lot when I first went vegan. And then it was maybe 2 or 3 years into it, I stopped getting so bloated and my face wasn't as puffy, and now I'm really slim and I eat as much as I want. I just try to restrict the junk food and the oily foods and the high fat foods, but I eat as much carbs as I want and healthy stuff as I want, and I'm still lean. And I don't exercise a whole bunch. I exercise probably less than the average person, but I do try to exercise. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not my exercise that has kept me lean, it's just diet that has been the reason for me being lean. Yeah. If I exercise, it's not going to be to lose weight. It's to be stronger and to gain muscle mass and cardiovascular capacity. So that is why I would exercise. But high carb vegan has really worked very well for me to stay vegan. Not just to stay vegan, but to stay healthy, as to stay happy and very satisfied with life. So I just love being vegan. I love it. I love that just by eating a vegan diet, I can make so much difference. And that I love that the vegan options are increasing because there's more people becoming vegan now. Despite those people who stop being vegan and then make it public, there's still a lot of people becoming vegan, and it's less of a minority thing now. It's becoming more mainstream. So I love being vegan. If anyone tells you no such thing as dumb question, they were wrong. I'm so tired of dumb questions. Oh, God bless you too, Gerald. By the way, if you have a smart question, you can ask it. I don't know if anyone asked anything that was actually dumb. I just answered it anyway. I didn't think it was that dumb. But you know, some people actually they just don't know that much about a vegan diet. So while things might sound obvious to us, it's not obvious to others. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there, probably the majority of people who know nothing about diet still think that you need animals to get protein. So like, to me, it's the most basic thing that you don't need to eat animal products to get protein, and it's the least of your worries. But to someone, just the average person out there, they just don't know. So it might seem dumb to us, but they just are not informed about it. So I'll answer the question and help them be informed, and then they can always look up more information if they want. So any other questions? Any smart questions for me? I'm just looking through the comments now to see if I missed anything. Vanna Blue Sky said, I am vegan on a disability and I do fine. Very good. Congratulations. Oh, I'm just recording this on my phone, so I'm trying to read the comments through here. And I sometimes press the wrong button. Oh, one other comment that I missed before. I've been addicted to peanut butter and jelly sandwiches lately. Cool. I actually don't like peanut butter and jelly. I like just the peanut butter by itself. I feel like the jelly's too sweet or like too much. There's just too much going on. I like distinct flavors. I don't like mixing stuff. So, but my husband eats peanut butter and jelly. In fact, he eats the Smucker's brand of it's the pre-packaged one that we get from Costco. He sometimes eats that. And I would rather just make the sandwich myself and just put peanut butter on it or just jam. I don't call it jelly really. I call it jam. So I would have just jam, or it would be just Vegemite or just peanut butter. And then I would eat that. So I don't have more than one spread on at a time. But if I make a sandwich, like out of other ingredients, I would put lettuce and tomato and or whatever vegan stuff that you put on sandwiches. I would mix it up like that. But in terms of spreads, I only have one spread at a time. And I don't really eat peanut butter that much because it's high fat, and I try to limit my fat intake just because I feel better that way. I feel like I'm doing my health a favor when I don't eat as much fat, and also my skin tends to be clearer if I don't eat too much fat. Like for now, I do have a few little pimples because I've just been eating whatever I want. But I restrict the junk food, but I still eat what I want. So I might still eat chips and what else is unhealthy? I might still eat like a bit of vegan cheese, and I did eat a little bit of vegan cheese on Thanksgiving with my mashed potatoes. So I still eat that high fat stuff. I just restrict it. So that's probably why my skin's breaking out, because maybe even just a little bit of that is not good for my skin. But in terms of being the same slim weight, I am doing fine eating the way I am. So I just try to focus on the healthy stuff and restrict the bad stuff. Each pimple represents a nutrient you are lacking, according to animal eaters. Okay. Okay, so I used to have one on my nose. What nutrient would be lacking? Vitamin N. Vitamin N for nose. Oh, B12. Oh. But I've been taking B12 and my blood tests show that I have enough. So maybe, I don't know. Love Resident for Evil said, "Hi Lisa. I know this is off topic. How do you like life in Seattle?" Oh, nice question. By the way, my name is Lisan. I'm not offended because you called me Lisa, but my name is Lisan. I'm doing a live video. Do you want to be in it? Kenny just came in the room. No?
Maybe.
Okay. One of my viewers was asking, how do I like life in Seattle? Well, I don't live right in the city of Seattle. I live south of Seattle in a suburb. I'm sure if you Google my name, you'll find me. But I like it. I don't know. How do you like life in Seattle? I like it. That's cool. Not very specific.
There's a lot of art here. A lot of history in this place. Popular place.
What do I like about it though? I like that the supermarkets have vegan food and variety. I like that I can be with my husband, who I love, and his family's pretty cool, even though they're not vegan. They're nice people who might one day be vegan. through our influence, so I'm not gonna just give up. But you know,
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm pretty addicted to this stuff. So I'm glad that they have Beyond Meat here.
yeah,
Because I am
yeah,
addicted to meat. I think I'll be addicted to meat for the rest of my life. You know how some people can just wing off
yeah,
of it and be like, "Oh, I don't have to eat meat substitutes." No, for the rest of my life, believe I will need to eat meat
yeah,
substitutes.
and that's something that some people will relate to. So some people will be like me that they can go raw vegan for a week, and be okay. Actually, even I couldn't be raw vegan for a week, but I can be vegan. I think being vegan is so much easier than being raw vegan, which is why I think it's so easy compared to, it's because of what I tried to do before, which was even harder. But I think most people, they like the convenience of what they used to cook and taste, and so it won't be so easy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I miss longanisa. I make it out of the Beyond Meat burgers. I can make 3 longanisas now.
Mhm.
Mm, it's hard. It's hard to deal with it, honestly. Because right now, that's one of the best and only real good substitutes you can buy in the supermarket.
Yeah. So if you really like the taste of meat, Beyond Meat is very close to it.
Yeah.
And um, in terms of like red meat flavor,
Yeah.
red meat flavor.
Red meat flavor.
Um, as for chicken,
It's hard too because my
chicken, I
family's
don't know.
cooking by me.
Yeah, his
Oh,
family cooks bacon and
yeah.
like they cook a lot of um
Everything.
everything. I guess. Yeah, eggs. They
Everything.
cook eggs.
Everything that I can't deal with now. But they're my family, so they're there.
Yeah, and I used to
And I
live with my
smell it.
parents too.
But it's not as strong a craving as it was like. The longer I wean myself from it, the better it is. But it's still there. When they're
Yeah,
cooking it, I'm just.
yeah. One of the things that I like, I don't really like talking about it too much, but because the more you focus on something, the worse it is. But like one of the things that I enjoyed when I was eating meat was I used to like barbecue fish and lobster and all that luxury stuff. But on a day-to-day basis, I don't really think about that too much. It's just that if I was to try to feel sorry for myself and think of all the things that I can't eat, then it would be hard. But
Well, what's the easiest thing that helped me as somebody that loves that stuff is actually to unfollow all of it on
yeah,
everything I had. Every time I saw an ad that was lying about something like, "Oh, carbs are bad," blah, I'll unfollow it. You know, anything that's
yeah,
lying, all the meat products, all the dairy, I just unfollow it. I don't even try to argue because those people are intoxicated with it.
yeah,
I just leave it alone. You know, they got people to fight you that are paid for that stuff. So
yeah,
you're not gonna win the argument because they're gonna discredit you, and it's not all the time, you know. But if you do it once in a while without losing your credibility, you'll win people over eventually.
yeah. With online stuff, you have to see what the people are like on the thread as well, and see whether it's worth getting into that conversation.
I'll jump into
Like,
it head deep.
I mean, I don't mind if I got the time. It's just it's time consuming as well, and I
Yeah.
don't know how much fruit I'll get out of it. So if I know it'll make a difference, then I might comment. But if I don't know, then maybe
Yeah.
not.
I never use my own word. I'll maybe start it that way, but at least by the second post, it has to have facts, like a link to somebody else that is more credible than myself. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you're just fueling fire if you're not using somebody else's strong basis credibility, like um,
like a journal article.
nutritionfacts.org or something.
Yeah, nutrition facts is a good one.
I love it. Even for weed, like we use it for that too.
Um, I like. It depends on what the topic of the conversation is. If it's about health, then I'll try to link to a journal article,
Yeah, it
like
doesn't
a
matter.
specific study. But or I'll
What
just
else?
try to use logic. But
What
sometimes
other
that doesn't
questions
work.
are there? Anybody else have questions for you?
They didn't really have many questions, but it was more comments. I
Oh,
think
okay.
live chat.
Yeah, if somebody's
Um,
got a question, I'd love to listen to what Lisan says, and then that'd be cool.
what? I'm trying to read what people are saying because when I talk, I can't read. Uh, wait. Oh, Race Lever asked you, so is he vegan?
Yeah, 100%. I've been vegan
Yes. Yes.
for a year.
Yeah.
Since December, since that was my New Year's resolution. It really was, and I stuck to it. Um, the only time I've not quit, but eaten out of it is like, say we have bread that's going bad that my family brought over from work or something, and I know it's not fully vegan, but it's like I don't want it to go bad. Like I've eaten it like a few times. That's an example. I don't want to waste food.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna do that to meat and stuff, but once in a while, if I feel guilty enough or I'm really hungry somewhere else, I think I had bread one time that I wasn't sure, and who cares at that point if it's I'm an isolated place, I have very limited food selection. Am I gonna worry about if this bread is vegan or not at that point?
Yeah.
Like I went to the party and I had salad and the bread was on the side and I was like, I'm just gonna go for this bread. I think
Yeah.
I think we do that once in a while, but other than that, other than sometimes hitting bread, yeah, 100% vegan, man. And man.
I think I don't know if it was a man or woman. It was
It's hard.
Race Lever.
It's really
asked that,
hard.
I think.
It's really
Race
hard. It took
Lever.
me 4 years. 4 years to do it.
Okay. Race Lever said, I just don't tell people I'm vegan. Then I challenge people to fights with the condition that the loser has to go vegan. Either way, I win. That's cool.
That's funny.
That's cool. So then you have to challenge them to something you'll win. And then, how many people have gone vegan?
I go with the debate. The debate's easier for me. Because I can settle the argument within 5 minutes with reason. Versus, a fight. This mortal form is now broken, my friend. It was in the military, so this form is. No, I'll get strong again. But yeah, good for you. That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, that's cool.
What about Lisan? How do you win it?
Oh, how do I win people to being vegan?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I help you become vegan a little
These
bit.
videos.
So the videos.
Legitimately,
I think
these videos are really good. And
fight tiny people.
What's that?
Race Lever commented, fight tiny people. We got a tiny person who lives here, by the way, but he's a good fighter. So I wouldn't challenge him to a fight.
Or start working out again, right? That helps too.
Someone asked, A Gaming asked, what's the best vegan substitute for chicken?
That I've found thus far.
I guess something that's accessible, because sometimes you find good stuff, but it's not.
Is it Gardein?
Yeah, Gardein. I would recommend Gardein.
You'll get sick of it after about a year, though. But
unless
it
you
does.
know how
They
to
have
cook it.
breaded chicken. They have the breaded chicken,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it also depends how oily you want it to be, because the more oil you add to it, the better it'll taste.
The Gardein chicken tenders.
There you go, right there, Gardein. There you go.
Yeah.
She said that probably while we were saying it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Gardein is good. I like it.
But I got tired of it. Honestly, it's too rubbery. Everyone keeps using the same tofu. Like, let's get away from tofu. There's 10,000 plants in the world. How about we try using some of them besides the 15 that Americans know of? Vast majority of people.
I mean, if Beyond Meat can make a vegan burger out of the pea protein?
Yeah, it's pea protein.
Yeah, then
Make it out of anything.
There's so many plants out there. I'm sure there's something that could be more accurate. And we've had some good stuff at restaurants. I think we went to Wayward and they had the chicken on the bamboo stick, kind of like a drumstick, and that was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
That was good, but I don't know how accessible that is in the supermarket. It's like, there's these things that you can go to specialty vegan restaurants for that are really good. It's just that it'd be a special occasion because it's expensive and not as accessible.
The hardest part is being patient while everybody is adjusting and while still talking, because it takes time, right? I haven't stopped talking about this I even talked about this to our church,
Yeah,
this
I
whole
mentioned,
vegan thing.
yeah, I
Like
mentioned
this is a huge change. I don't think people understand how important it is that even your church accepts that this is truth. You know,
yeah,
because biblically there's a lot of references that point that it's the best thing to do, but it also says that we're to take care of this world. So you you have to realize when there is some contradiction, and then go to what is correct. Like, if you know, exactly, it's just we have to make it better. And I'm glad that you used. Oh, I'm glad that you
Genesis 1
posted
verse
that.
29. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the kind of knowledge that we need to spread as Christians, especially as we're Lisan and I are Christians. As Christians, that's the kind of stuff you have to do, is be strong enough to take the criticism, because if you know the truth in Proverbs, if you know the truth, you have to say it. You have to. You know, we have to do it. And you can't just sit by and let people
Yeah.
die without you saying the truth. And what I do is I link them to the how not to die videos. You know, they're an hour and 22 minutes long, but they're really strong on showing proof.
Mm.
Anyways, yeah, sorry. Did
Yeah.
we go on a tangent? I
Yeah,
went on.
it's okay. I
These are
haven't
the
done a
things that are
video
on
for
my
a while.
mind.
I haven't done a video for a while, so I don't mind if it's long.
Okay.
And I think they enjoy our company if they're still watching. There's still 9 people there, so
Hi guys.
they get to
We
hang out with
appreciate
us.
you very much, and it's actually nice
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah.
to communicate with people.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I miss doing the videos like this.
All right.
Um,
Another question.
oh, let's look at the comments. Let's update ourselves. So, Race Lever said the Bible is quite clear that the animals were not originally created to be eaten.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
sin. Who goes, oh, look at that deer.
I know.
I want to take a bite of that. That's sin, baby.
And
Ooh, that animal looks yummy. When did the animal start
I know,
looking
and,
yummy?
like-
When you decided to get the knowledge, right?
okay, and even let's say even if let's say God doesn't exist and the Bible didn't even exist.
I'm never gonna say
Wait,
that, but okay.
But let's say hypothetically, and then you just look at the world. Look at how animals react. If you hold a knife to them and start chasing them, are they gonna run into your knife and like want to sacrifice themselves? No, they don't want to be eaten. And then you look at the studies about health, and the largest killer in the Western world is heart disease, and that's caused by animal products. So if you just look at
It's
the
just
logic,
one
look
thing.
at the science.
Yeah, I'm
Look
not
at
the guy's, like,
look at
14
how
things.
this world is being changed by animal agriculture. Look at the destruction of the rainforest. Look at the wildlife. Look at extinction.
The number one
Like-
thing is to come humbly, to talk to people humbly and with love. If you don't
Yeah.
talk to them,
Yes.
if you forget to talk to them
Yes.
with love when regarding veganism, you're
Yeah.
failing. You can't blow up. That's
Yes.
you gotta know that you have the right answer, and therefore you don't have to fight so hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to fight so hard. Just say, hey, go vegan.
Yeah.
Oh! I keep having problems with my heart. Oh. Go vegan.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna tell you shut up, and then you're just gonna worry about it, and then they're gonna say that they have problems, and then their family members are sick and fighting cancer because it's happening in our church. We had 2 funerals in a row this Saturdays, and it's all because of diets, man, and people not being aware of the carcinogens that they're surrounded by. I mean, this is another one, you know, like there's
Yeah.
you have to
Yes.
know what you're fighting though. Most of them don't know. Or they
Yeah.
choose not to. So if you just keep reminding them once in a while.
Yeah. Like enough for them to remember, but not to become too annoying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Or maybe you
Love.
can be annoying.
love.
Just
Number one is
yeah.
to say it one time and then be done with it with the family.
yeah.
At least
Yeah.
state your strongest facts. Show them the video.
Yeah.
Because it's actually really good, and then be gone with it.
Yes. Someone actually commented something good.
Yeah, what is it?
They said veganism can stand on just logic, no religion required. I
Yeah.
agree. Yes.
Agreed. It's
yes.
just if you're in within religious boundaries,
Yeah.
you have to still bring in the logic, and then address the
You still have to address
the fight that they're bringing up, right?
Yeah, because sometimes if you talk to Christians, sometimes about eating meat, they'll bring in the religion without you bringing it in.
What's the purest animal
So-
you eat?
Yeah.
Lamb. That's what
Yeah.
they say.
Yeah.
But if it's the purest animal, why would you slaughter it?
Yeah, it's not like we want to bring religion into it because you don't need
You
religion
don't
to
need to.
like.
What we're trying to say
But
is how to bring science into the real, not science, but how to bring logic into this.
yeah, because
Logic,
we've
baby.
talked to someone in our church. His name is Billy, and he brought up that he goes by what the Bible says, and so when you talk to someone like that about being vegan, you have to address what they want to talk about too, and within their framework of understanding. So
Yes.
we brought up that originally in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve were vegan, and yes, you can use the Bible to argue for being vegan too. And he also said that God was pleased with the animal sacrifices, but we argued it that it's not because God likes to kill animals that the animals were sacrificed. It's because of our sin, and it just shows how nasty sin is and how evil it is that was the price that had to be paid for us to be redeemed. So
It just makes sense. Like, look at an animal, any animal. Look at it in the eyes. Look at anything that lives in the eyes, and you'll know that what the right thing to do. It's everyone does.
yeah,
Just you turn cruelty into, you misguide it. You're like, well, I don't care about your life anymore, and I'm going to eat you. And back in the day, with before this knowledge, it made sense, right?
oh, one other thing that he brought
But
up
not
is that
anymore.
one
Definitely not anymore.
one other thing that Billy brought up was that he said animals don't have souls,
Oh
and I
yes.
corrected him and I said the Bible says that we have spirits and the animals don't, but it doesn't mean that they don't have souls. Soul is emotion. Animals have souls, and Kenny said that
Dean Braxton even said.
the dogs have souls. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Even
can
Dean
see
Braxton, the
they have
gentleman that went to
emotions.
heaven, when he was there, he said, and he was dead for over an hour and came back to his body, dead like an hour and like 15 minutes, something crazy. And he said while he was in heaven, everything loved him, including animals. The chair loved him. Everything knew he came to heaven and loved him. That's what it is, and it makes sense to me because if any of you smoke weed, you're just filled with euphoria. You feel that when you go running and you work out hard, you're filled with that euphoria. It's love, and you get that when you look at an animal in the eyes and it's not trying to eat you. If it's just enjoying your presence and loving who you are, and you can enjoy the moment without being afraid, then you see the love. And I think more people are starting to understand it. You're looking at all the movies that are coming out, even in Star Wars, there was a little bit
Yeah.
of a clip where they didn't want to eat that little bird thing, Chewie didn't, he felt bad. It looked like a
Yeah.
little chicken, but he didn't. Uh, And they're putting it into everything. Look at all the movies, too. There was a bull movie that Lisanne and I watched at our
It was
church.
called
put
Matador?
on. Matador.
Yeah.
It was such a beautiful movie
Yeah.
on veganism, and it was a good child movie.
Yeah.
And even what's the last movie that came out? The little girl
Moana?
right? She had that little chicken thing, and then I think they were gonna eat it, but they didn't eat him. I don't know if they ate
I
animals
don't
in
know.
there,
I don't
too.
remember.
I just there's
Yeah.
We're
Normally
changing.
children's movies are quite pro-vegan,
yeah.
I find.
We just got to keep reminding people that this is important. Don't quit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we'll end it there for now. Thank you for
Oh, I'm
joining
sorry
in
I
with
took
us.
over your stuff.
No, it's okay. It's good. Fine. I was the star of this for the first half hour, just rambling on about things. So
Well, how about you end it with something sweet? Tell something sweet to people, like they maybe they
something
don't.
sweet.
Yes, this is a nice
Something
moment where
sweet.
they get to really know you. Say something that you what's a passion about? Something these kids. You work with a lot of kids.
Oh, okay. Well, some of you know that I'm a piano teacher, so I teach kids how to play the piano. How sweet is that? Yeah, and I was about to say sugar as well, but Internet Entity said sugar, something sweet. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say because I took that literally too. So sugar, make sure you eat enough of it, whether it's in the form of fruit or other carbohydrates like rice and potatoes. So keep your brain running. And Captain Crunch is sweet. Do you eat Captain Crunch? Yeah, Kenny eats Captain Crunch too.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I hope you all had a great weekend and enjoy your week ahead. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.